Story appears ordinary till you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is the story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
Good evening and thank you for joining us on CoreTV News Prime Time. I am Ebulomo Adekunle. In a major story, President Goodluck Jonathan and APC presidential candidate Muhammadu Buhari signed accord on violence-free elections. Also in this program, APC presidential candidate Muhammadu Buhari campaigns in Osogbo, promises to boost economy and stop corruption. The Nigerian Bar Association wants politicians to desist from violence in the 2015 general elections. Outside Nigeria, French satirical magazine Charlie Hebdo publishes a new edition 7 days after gunmen linked to jihadists kill 8 members of its staff. Presidential candidates, including incumbent President Goodluck Jonathan and his main challenger Muhammadu Buhari, on Wednesday took off time from the campaign train to sign an agreement on a non-violent electoral process. The ceremony was witnessed by representatives of the international community, including the former UN Secretary-General Kofi Annan. Pius Samuel now reports on the forum, which was also attended by key members of the political class.
This is the first time since party primaries that the leading presidential candidates will meet to chart a path towards a peaceful, non-violent election. Leading the campaign is the former UN Secretary-General, Kofi Annan. He is confident that Nigeria will get it right, but wants politicians to work for the next generation.
The Global Commission identified 5 challenges to elections with integrity. The first is weak rule of law and weak protection of voters' rights. Second, inadequate electoral management bodies, either because they are insufficiently resourced or incompetent and not independent enough to enjoy public confidence. And another key finding was denial of political opportunity to those who lose, leading to a win and all mentality.
The Independent National Electoral Commission is also optimistic that the country can have a violence-free election. INEC Chairman Atahiru Jega insists that it is only possible if the parties follow the necessary guidelines. Jega also reeled out a number of possible solutions that will help in making elections in Nigeria violence-free.
In a country like Nigeria, where there is what scholars call low level of institutionalization, stakeholders tend to use resources at their control in the contest for political power. And as Samuel Huntington said, the wealthy will bribe, the students will riot, the workers will strike, the mobs will demonstrate, and the military will come.
When it was time for leading candidates to speak, they expressed a commitment to a peaceful and non-violence process. They, however, have concerns stemming from their experience on the political landscape.
We make statements that are so provocative, and when you are making these statements, the younger ones are listening to you. Your followers who call themselves your fans are listening to you. We threaten our opponents. A particular governor came to me and said, look, his colleague, a governor in another party, was threatening that immediately we take over government, you will go to jail. If you now threaten somebody that you will go to jail if you take over government, that person will want to fight as if he's defending himself from going to jail. So we must, I'm not talking about presidential candidates, I'm talking about our followers.
The impression I hope that I created is for those that have intellectually looked at about the processes of elections in Nigeria. I accept their hope, especially when you look at the Constitution as amended. How INEC comes in as an INEC act to register political associations into political parties.
The less visible ones were also not left out.
It has been said that the next election is about the youth of this country, which I represent. It's about the next generation, which I represent. By the grace of God, come February 14th, when I become president of Nigeria, I'll be the first next generation president of this country.
Having a permanent voter's card has shown that there is no how anybody can vote more than once. Unlike in the past, where some people will have over 40,000 ballot papers.
The event was witnessed by representatives of the international community, which also facilitated the process, as well as key leaders of Nigeria's leading political parties. Pius Samuel, CoreTV News, Abuja.
The late arrival of General Muhammadu Buhari and the campaign team of the All Progressives Congress presidential candidate notwithstanding, the enthusiasm of party faithful who thronged the Osogbo City Stadium to witness the Osun State leg of the presidential campaign of Nigeria's main opposition party for the February 14th, 2015 election did not wane. Leaders of the party canvassed for the votes of the Osun people, with their campaign hinged on three main points of stopping corruption, boosting the economy, and reducing poverty in Nigeria. Rashid has more.
The patience of party faithfuls who have arrived at the Osogbo City Stadium venue of the presidential campaign attests to the fact that the All Progressives Congress still holds sway in Osun State. Having been the only state in southwest Nigeria to defeat Jonathan in 2011 and its subsequent elections, leaders of the party who spoke say the feat is ready to be repeated at the February presidential election.
Nigerians are truly ready to embrace change. So it's a wind of change that is blowing across the entire country.
Nobody in 10 years before now ever thought Nigeria would come to this level. If Jonathan went on here to say that you cannot stop theft of oil in Nigeria, it's related to corruption, but you must address it to show that it must be that. Sorry for using that word. It must have lost its senses. So as a head of state, for you to say that we cannot fight oil theft.
The Director General of the campaign team and Governor of Rivers State, Rotimi Amechi, thanked the people for their patience, but enjoined them to get their permanent voter card in order to effect the change needed. For the Governor of Osun, Rauf Aregbesola, his message was that of porting from what he described as good luck to a better and best luck.
If you have not collected your BBC is permanent voter's card. Yes. I like say no voting if you don't have it. Yes. Just go now and collect your BBC. On that day, punish these thieves. Punish who? Punish them by taking your card and voting them out.
So Nigeria will those ordinary luck anymore. We want best luck.
For the presidential candidate Muhammadu Buhari, the tripod manifesto of the party makes his campaign point as he promises to fight corruption, improve economy, and make insecurity a thing of the past if elected.
The question of unemployment, we are going to turn to agriculture and mining that will absorb the large body of everybody, both educated and uneducated, that have no jobs. Our business in APC is to secure and efficiently manage this country. And with the will of God, we are going to succeed.
Observers say Osun State may have been seeded for the APC, but stressed that politics is a dynamic game that may change at any given time. Rashid, CoreTV News, Oshogbo.
The advocacy group Lawyers for Change have shown that they indeed mean business as they took to the streets of Ikeja, Lagos in their numbers, beckoning on all to join their train of change in the endorsement of the APC presidential candidate and his running mate. The march, which took off from the NBA Ikeja branch office at, as they love to be called, learned people openly declaring their support for and showing their endorsement of Muhammadu Buhari and Yemi Osinbajo, who is also a lawyer, as their candidates in the 2015 presidential elections. The coordinator of the group, Additional Gulano, says the duo of Buhari and Osinbajo will bring about a combination of experience and intellectual capacity to run the nation smoothly.
We know what is going on in the country. We are not toddlers. Most of us are more than 20, more than 30, more than 40. We have seen better times before. We have seen a government that is not running the country appropriately. Incidentally, one of the gladiators happens to be one of us, Yemi Osinbajo. The intellectual backup, the support that we need, and he's young. He go and see that combination just like Mandela and then the younger Ramaphosa or Mbeki. So where we have a Buhari in Nigeria, then we have a Yemi Osinbajo. Yeah. Certainly two capable men, not only honest, not only full of integrity, but extremely capable. That is the change we want. That is the change that can drive this country out of the morass that we are in presently.
The APC Presidential Campaign Organization has described the inclusion of Mike Omeri, the Director General of the National Orientation Agency, in the Jonathan Campaign Organization as an act of impunity and a violation of the NOA Act. The APC campaign said the action by the ruling PDP is in violation of Part 2, Section 6, Subsection 2 of the National Orientation Agency Act, which prescribes that the NOA Director General should be non-partisan. In a statement signed by Garba Shehu, Director of Media and Publicity of the organization, the APC campaign insisted that it contravenes the public service rules to which all public servants, including the DG of the NOA, is bound. The All Progressives Congress in Lagos State has kick-started its campaign for the 2015 governorship election with a mega rally for the Lagos West Senatorial District at the Sky Park ground in Ikeja. Patience Ajiboye's report is presented from our studio.
Cautions turned out in mass at the presentation of Akinwumi Ambode, Lagos governorship candidate, and his running mate Oluroti Adebule. Speaking at the rally, APC's national leader and former governor of Lagos, Bola Tinubu, says he is proud that his successor has performed well in his administration. He also thanked members of the All Progressives Congress family who did not clinch the party's governorship ticket at the primaries. He refers to President Goodluck Jonathan as a man of perpetual excuses and says it is no wonder that he admitted the failure of his administration.
A straightforward Nigerian, a bold Nigerian, an honest Nigerian. Every time, a nation must need a special leader at the time of its trial. Nigeria is going through the trial now of choosing the wrong person in 2011. A person of great excuses.
Outgoing Governor Babatunde Fashola thanked everyone for their support and implored all to exercise their franchise come February 14 and vote for the APC in all the elections. He says INEC does not have any power to infringe on the right to franchise of any eligible voter, whether or not they have collected their PVC.
Your right to vote, your right to vote is not a gift by any government. Listen to me. Your right to vote is not a gift of any government. It is a right that you have as a citizen in any part of the world where democracy is practiced. So, whether INEC give you PVC or they give you TVC, INEC is just helping to do a job that is yours as of right. On election day, you will be entitled to vote, and nobody, let me repeat, nobody can stop you from exercising your right to vote.
Party's governorship candidate Akinwumi Ambode says he's up for the service to Lagosians, irrespective of their tribe, religion, or creed, adding that continuity of excellence is his goal, while also encouraged Lagosians to vote for Muhammadu Buhari and Yemi Osinbajo. He promised to be accountable to all Lagosians if voted into office like the accountant that he is.
Lagos is a cosmopolitan state. Be you Igbo, be you African, be you Hausa, be you Yoruba, APC will stand for you. We have been doing it for the last 16 years. And that's what we want to continue to do. We want to continue that tradition of excellence.
As political parties continue with their campaigns, the electorate will make the decision come polling day.
On the other side, Lagos PDP governorship candidate Jimmy Agbaje urges Lagosians to be united and not allow religion divide them and the state. Agbaje made this comment at the interactive session with the Muslim community of Lagos State. Oluwaseyi Adigoke was there and brought back this report.
The third interactive session by the Muslim community in Lagos State focuses on education, justice delivery, good governance, and religious affairs. In his address, Lagos PDP governorship candidate Jimmy Agbaje, switching between Yoruba and English languages, said the beauty of Lagos State is the unity among the people.
Anybody family to be Christian, the same way. Our Creole is the family to be Muslim. But I think what is fundamental is that for Lagos, we should not allow religion to divide us.
The lead discussants of the Muslim society highlights the areas that they want the next administration to give utmost importance, stating the hijab issue as one of the points.
We want to live in a state where the religious conviction of everyone will be respected.
Of hijab, that is the health cover for Muslim women and children, not only women, because they are claiming that only the adults can put on hijab, not only not the minors in secondary school. And our religion taught us that we should teach and impart this in our children from their childhood, not only when they grow up.
The issue is that we as Muslims in Lagos State, we want judiciary system in Lagos State to include Islamic law pertaining to resolution of disputes on Islamic personal matters.
The act of governance is supposed to be done with policies that will be named people's policy. We can build so many infrastructures, but if we don't have the right personnel that are well trained, that will lead to my second issue, which has to do with human capital development of our people. Those infrastructures are meaningless to the people.
Reacting to these issues, Jimmy Agbaje says changes must be done to bring progress to the state. Also making a point on the issue of hijab, says it will be a collective duty of the parents and the society as well as the government.
We are ready to support the use of hijab, but you also have a role to play, and I'm giving you the role that you need to play more than you are doing at the moment, that we can be more responsive to your issues, the market women, the civil servants, the youth, and all.
The PDP governorship candidate says his administration will govern Lagos the best way. Religions will be respected and there will be no discrimination between them if he is voted for. Oluwaseyi Adegoke, CoreTV News, Lagos.
The issue of youth empowerment has again been put in focus as the APC Lagos West senatorial candidate Solomon Adiolu took his bid for senatorial seat to the Arewa community, where a promise to make youth empowerment his main priority if elected. Damilola Omotude was there for CoreTV News. Our reporters presented from our studio.
These people were filled up the 3,000 capacity hall, venue of the meeting between APC candidate Solomon Adiola and the Arewa community in Lagos West to show their support for the candidate in his bid for the seat. Speaking at the meeting, the senatorial candidate Adiola charges the crowd to vote for his party to achieve the change that will take the nation to true prosperity.
A vote for our party, it's a vote for good governance, it's a vote for employment opportunity, it's a vote for economic development, and it's a vote for infrastructural renewal.
On the issue of the permanent voter cards, he urges INEC to do more to avoid disenfranchising Nigerians.
I will only use this opportunity to call on the head of government at the center, to call on the Independent National Electoral Commission and ask them to ensure that every Nigerian is not disenfranchised from exercising his own fundamental human right. That every Nigerian is allowed to vote come February 14 and February 28 so that they can express their mind, they can choose their leader, and they can vote for the party of their choice.
With campaigns in full throttle, it is hoped that candidates will fulfill their electoral promises to the people when it does finally settles on the elections.
Ahead of next month's general elections, the Social Democratic Party has continued to work stronger in Ogun State, kicking off its campaign for the elections with a mega rally, which also witnessed the unveiling of its governorship candidate. Olajumoke Olatunji was there and filed in this report.
Ahead of the 2015 general elections, the Social Democratic Party is fast in printing its name on the nation's political landscape, especially in Ogun State. Recently, the 3 senators representing the state at the National Assembly formally defected to the party. The battle for 2015 in the state, which hitherto was expected to be a 2-horse race, has now effectively become a 3-horse race. The APC, PDP and Labour Party has appeared in the front line of political maneuvering, deft scheming and permutation towards the general elections. But with the arrival of SDP, actively promoted by former Governor Olusegun Oshaba, politics in the state has taken a new dimension.
You told me you want a governor that is level-headed. Is that not so? You told me you want a matured governor. You told me you want a governor who has extensive administrative experience. You told me you want a governor who will share the benefit of democracy equally in the entire Ogun State. You told me you want somebody who will be governor of Ogun State, not governor of friends and family. You told me you want a governor who is deeply religious in the Islamic line. Is that not so? Do you have all these? Have you seen all these qualities in the person of Kamaruddin, Senator Kamaruddin Akiodusi or not? Are you the one that has voted for him to be candidate or not? Do you endorse his candidate wholeheartedly? Are you ready to vote for him?
The mega rally also served as an avenue to unveil one of the three senators who defected from the APC to the SDP, Akin Oduse, as the governorship candidate, and the present deputy governor of Ogun State, Segun Adeshegun, as his running mate. The governorship candidate, Akin Oduse, assured party supporters of his determination to transform Ogun State.
Better governance, inclusive governance, participatory governance, government of the people, for the masses. That's the kind of government they should expect from me.
Olugbenga Kaka and Benga Obadara, senators representing Ogun East and West respectively, also spoke on what Nigerians should expect at the polls next month.
It's a sort of tripod race. Tripod race between SDP and APC and PDP. But with what is on ground, it seems it's almost a foregone victory for SDP.
People are ready for change in Ogun State. People are ready to root out the government of incompetence. People are ready to root out the party of injustice in Ogun State. We are ready as a party to bring good governance to Ogun State.
It's exactly a month from the much expected 2015 elections. The Social Democratic Party has taken this step aimed at changing the face of politics in Ogun State. Olajumoke Olatunji, CoreTV News, Abeokuta.
With political campaigns in top gear across different political parties in Oyo State, the governorship candidate of the Social Democratic Party, Seyi Makinde, says one thing he wishes to accomplish if elected as the next governor of the state is to eliminate poverty. Makinde stressed that poverty is the bedrock of social vices and stunted growth for any society and capable of running the development of a state if not ruining the development of a state if not urgently addressed.
The main issue that we're faced with is, we rely on the federal allocation, and we all know right now oil is selling at half the price, half the price, of what we had this time last year. What will happen this time next year, nobody knows. But Oyo State does not even have to rely on oil money, federal allocation in the first instance. We have enough resources, within this state that if properly harnessed, we should really be running on our own.
The governorship aspirant under the platform of SDP is set for his mega rally to officially kickstart his campaign on the 19th of January in Ibadan. It's the CoreTV Primetime News. We'll be back after this break with details of the warning handed out to politicians by the Nigerian Bar Association. Don't go away.
I'm so happy every day because I'm healthy and strong. Playing, jumping, here I go. Scott's Emotion helps me grow.
A daily dose of Scott's Emotion, which combines omega-3, calcium, vitamins A and D, supports the healthy development of your child's brain and body. Scott's Emotion promotes active minds and strong immunity in growing children. New Scott's Orange Flavor Multivitamin Emotion.
Niger has got her pulse back. Now you can call from your campus and from over 500 other campuses at 11 copies per second all day to any network, plus lots of other awesome benefits. Dial *406 #. Step into the pulsing zone. It's MTN iPulse, baby. Back, bigger, and better.
Pulsing P. MTN. Everywhere you go.
Thank you for being there, and if you're just joining us, here is a reminder of our major stories. President Goodluck Jonathan and APC presidential candidate Muhammadu Buhari sign accord on violence-free elections. APC presidential candidate Muhammadu Buhari campaigns in Osogbo, promises to boost economy and stop corruption. The Nigerian Bar Association wants politicians to desist from violence in the 2015 general elections. And for more news and other information, you can visit a social media platform. On Facebook, facebook.com/CoreTV News. Our Twitter handle @CoreTV News NG. And on YouTube, it's youtube.com/CoreTV, with a space, then News. The Nigerian Bar Association has warned that violence is inevitable before and during next month's election if politicians fail to obey the rules governing electoral process. NBA President Augustine Alege issued the warning in Abuja at a one-day sensitization workshop ahead of the 2015 general elections. The forum also provided the Independent National Electoral Commission yet another opportunity to declare its readiness for the task at hand.
This is the first effort by the NBA to sensitize the public on the forthcoming elections since it inaugurated a voter education and mobilization committee in November last year. One after the other, the speakers lamented that there is hardly any election since independence that does not lead to loss of lives and property. But NBA says adequate education of eligible voters on the dangers of resorting to violence before, during and after the elections will go a long way to avoid a repeat of the 2011 mayhem in some parts of the country.
The practitioners of violence have forgotten that its main effects include A, the loss of legitimacy to the whole electoral process, B, the proliferation of violence. As the axiom violence begets further violence is further confirmed, since both sides will be trying to avenge the violence previously inflicted on it.
It is critical that we achieve massive turnout on the voting day. And what that massive turnout will do for us as Nigerians is that it will police the polling unit, it will discourage corruption and filling of the results.
For his part, Attorney General of the Federation, Mohammed Adoke, reaffirmed government's resolve on elections that will be in line with international best practices. He also allayed fears on a possible shift in the election dates.
The Electoral Act 2010 as amended contains sufficient provisions and safeguards to guarantee free, fair and credible election as long as all stakeholders devote themselves to patriotic and sincere application of its provisions.
A representative of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Oluwole Osaze, was on hand to assure Nigerians of its preparedness for the task at hand.
Every voter should be enlightened, every voter should participate, and every voter should make sure he is active in the process. And to restate the commitment of the Independent National Electoral Commission to ensure that every vote cast will be counted and every vote counts.
As the general elections draw closer, many have expressed fears that except security agencies lived up to their responsibilities, Nigeria may not witness a violence-free elections.
The military-sized troops have repelled a Boko Haram attack on Biu, Borno State in the early hours of the day. The defense headquarters disclosed that 5 insurgents were captured during the gun battle that lasted several hours. It said in a series of tweets through its Twitter handle that 2 anti-aircraft guns were also recovered. The military authorities added that a mop-up operation is currently on while troops are pursuing fleeing terrorists. 13 thief people who successfully sued the federal government for the massacre in Zaki Biam and environs want President Goodluck Jonathan to reverse his decision to pay the 8 billion naira judgment debt to Benue State's governor Gabriel Suswam. Addressing journalists in Abuja, counsel to the litigants Sebastian Han said the Attorney General of the Federation, Mohammed Adoke, had informed him that the president had directed that the money be paid to Governor Suswam. But Han insisted that the directive was wrong morally and in law because the Benue State's government was not a party to the case that resulted in the award of 41.8 billion naira to the plaintiffs. A federal high court, which sat in Enugu, had awarded the amount to the litigants as compensation for the massacre of people in Zaki Biam and environs as a result of a military invasion. But after a series of negotiations between the litigants and the federal government, the 41.8 billion naira was negotiated down to 8 billion naira, which government agreed to pay to the people. The case was filed by Dr. Alexander Gadi and 13 others, but Gadi died while negotiation was on, leaving the remaining 13 people as plaintiffs. It's still the CoreTV. It's the CoreTV Primetime News. We'll take another break and we'll be back with business, sports and other stories outside Nigeria.
Daily dose of Scott's Emotion, which combines omega-3, calcium, vitamins A and D, supports the healthy development of your child's brain and body. Scott's Emotion promotes active minds and strong immunity in growing children. New Scott's orange flavor multivitamin emotion.
Niger has got her pulse back. Now you can call from your campus and from over 500 other campuses at 11 cover per second all day to any network, plus lots of other awesome benefits. Dial *406#. Step into the pulsing zone. It's MTN iPulse, baby. Back, bigger, and better.
Awesome P. MTN. Everywhere you go.
And now to business news. The 2015 budget has scaled through second reading in the Senate and was referred to the Committees on Finance and Appropriation for further legislative action. The committees were given 4 weeks to turn in a report, but the budget is not certain to be ready before the election. This is because the federal lawmakers adjourned plenary till February 17th, soon after consideration of the bill. Nigerian stock exchanges said it will not be able to meet up with the 1 trillion naira come 2016 as it is expected due to the security situation in northeastern Nigeria. It hopes more certain microeconomic outlook for oil prices, interest rates and the naira. The market's attractiveness will improve significantly this year, and with bond yields hovered around 14% all year, would remain an attraction for investors. And now let's join Sabena Izoku for the stock market report.
CoreTV News Stock Market Report is brought to you by MTN.
MTN. Everywhere you go.
Welcome to the Stock Market Report segment with me, Sabena Izoku. The equities market on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange closed on a negative note today as the all shares index depreciated by 3.84% to close at 28,740.40 basis points. The market capitalization decreased in the same manner to close at 9.51 trillion naira. In all, a total volume of 488.6 million units of shares, valued at 3.8 billion naira, were exchanged in 5,151 deals. 40 oil topped the gainers chart to close at 227 naira with a gain of 4 naira 49 kobo, followed by Presco, PZ Cussons, Beta Glass, and Union Deacon Salt. However, on the flip side, Dangote Cement topped the chart, to follow by Seplat Oil, Julius Berger, Guinness, and Ashaka Cement. Meanwhile, Mutual Benefit topped the traders chart, followed by Zenith Bank, Multiverse, Resource Savings and Loans, and Access Bank. Just before we wrap up the stock market report, here's the currency trade for today.
CoreTV News Stock Market Report is brought to you by MTN.
MTN, everywhere you go.
For sports stories, we'll join Brownson Uwana.
Power style, that's what he delivered. Here's that ball, storming, Oyol with a flying lead.
Go, taking them out in the lead and really.
Thanks for joining us on our Sport News tonight. I am Brownson Uwana. Nigerian Football Federation President Amaju Pinnick flew into Malabo, capital of Equatorial Guinea, on Wednesday as the African football fraternity got into the mood for the 30th African Cup of Nations kicking off on Saturday. The NFF Supremo will commission 2 matches in the group phase at the championship with opportunities for more in the knockouts round. However, the Confederation of African Football has once more ruled the absence of 2013 champions Nigeria, who failed to reach the finals after finishing behind South Africa and Congo in Group A of the qualifying campaign. Before jetting out of the country, Pinnick transmitted a letter to a member of the Nigerian Football Federation Executive Committee notifying them that the first Vice President, Seyi Akinwumi, will act on his behalf. Swansea City have criticized the Ivory Coast Football Federation for saying striker Wilfred Bony has completed his £28 million transfer to Manchester City. The 26-year-old is on international duty with Ivory Coast at the African Cup of Nations. The Ivory Coast Football Federation said Bony has signed with Manchester City this Wednesday, 14th January. A Swansea spokesman responded that club has not confirmed anything and the Ivory Coast has no right to comment. Cristiano Ronaldo says he is very proud of winning the Ballon d'Or and that he thinks he deserves it. Ronaldo beat Barcelona's Lionel Messi and Bayern Munich shot-stopper Manuel Neuer to the award. Finally, on our sport news tonight in the world of tennis, British #1 player Andy Murray, a 3-time finalist, will be seeded 6th for the Australian Open with Serbia's Novak Djokovic, the #1 seed. 5-time champion Serena Williams is top seed for the women's event, while British Hatta Watson will have no protection in February's draw. Former champion Victoria Azarenka, who is ranked 41st in the world after an injury-hit 2014, is also unseeded. The tournament, the first Grand Slam for the year, begins on Monday. And that's my final whistle on Sport News tonight. Very big thanks for watching. I am Brownson Uwana.
You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website, www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to CoreTV Primetime Days.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. And Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then News. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.
And now, outside Nigeria, long queues have formed at newsstand in France for the latest edition of satirical magazine Charlie Hebdo, with 5 million copies being printed just a week after the magazine was attacked by Islamist gunmen, leading to the death of 8 journalists. The cover shows a cartoon depicting the Prophet Muhammad weeping while holding a sign saying "Je suis Charlie," meaning "I am Charlie," with the attack believed to have been prompted by earlier cartoons of the Prophet Muhammad by the magazine. The slogan "Je suis Charlie" has been widely used following the shootings, while in a separate attack in Paris 2 days later, 4 Jewish men died after an Islamist gunman took hostages at a kosher shop in the French capital. A policewoman was shot dead in a third shooting believed to have been carried out by the same attacker. Referring to last week's shocking events, French Prime Minister Manuel Valls said his country was at war with extremism and terrorism, but not with Muslims. He was speaking on Tuesday after funeral ceremonies were held for 7 of the victims in France and Israel. And that's it on CoreTV Primetime News for tonight. But before we go, a recap of our major stories. We reported that President Goodluck Jonathan and APC presidential candidate Muhammadu Buhari have signed a accord on violence-free elections. We also reported that APC presidential candidate Muhammadu Buhari campaigned in Osogbo and promised to boost economy and stop corruption. Finally, the Nigerian Bar Association warned politicians to desist from violence in the 2015 general elections. Thank you so much for staying with us on CoreTV Primetime News tonight. And on behalf of the entire news crew, I am Ebunomo Adegwu, wishing you a pleasant night rest.